Mr. Venomous is wrong.
So
I was still looking at the Fox team when you were on a flying team.
yeah, I learned a lot watching.
Well, I know for me it's an honor. You know, when Mark reached out to me to ask me to be here, and I got a hold of Scotty. You know, it's certainly an honor to be here and kind of talk about our time on the flag stand.
Which ain't up yet.
No, it isn't. So you know, it's certainly an honor for me to see a lot of faces I haven't seen in a long time. So it's you know, it's just a lot of fun. I get to hang with Scotty and Bobby, kind of talking about some of our tales and stories and things.
We can tell some stories, that's for sure. And I echo the same thing. It's an honor to be here, and I'm amazed at everything that's happened with this organization in this short time it's been around. And if I may add, talking with Red Coffin about the Reading Historical Group, he says, what's going to happen when we're all gone? Who's going to care? So that's something we need to think about down the road. Keep these young people involved, get them interested in the Flemington Speedway Historical Society and what went on at the track. Some of them remember it, we just got to get them involved. It's something I think we need to think about down the road, because when we're gone, it's over.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
Other than that, I mean, just something to think about. And Red Coffin feels very strongly about that with the Reading group, because a lot of their drivers are a lot older than our drivers, because they've been closed a lot longer. So I just wanted to throw that out, you know.
Also, I have a 12-year-old son, and last season he started working for Steve selling programs. I mean, he's seen pictures of me on the flag stand, and Dad, that's what I want to do. I want to get into racing. And I tell him all the time, I said, Neil, you want to get into racing, you got to start at the bottom and work your way up. You're just not going to, it's who you know, not always what you know. So I talked to Pam and Steve, and he's only 12. And at first they were a little reluctant, you know, he's only 12, but they got to know him. And I wish I knew as much as he does. By just reading all the crap that I have laying around the house for all these years, he reads it, and Steve will probably back me up on this, that it's the knowledge that my little kid has. And that's what I keep trying to tell him, that everything he can learn from me, to pass it on to his friends. Now, I'm from Staten Island, so, you know, everybody at home thinks I'm just some sort of concrete redneck, because they have no clue. They have no clue what racing is. You know, I mean, Washington Stadium, when I was a kid, I used to go, and that closed up. And I started coming out to Flemington with my parents to go shopping. And one day I saw a race car going around the circle, and I talked my father into following it down the road. Next thing you know, we were there every Saturday night. And once I got my driver's license, we weren't able to come every week because Mom wanted to go shopping, of course. And once I got my license, I started coming every week. And I went into the infield. And I was there. I parked in turn 1 in the infield for 5, 6, 7 years. It was an opening night one year, and Joe Hall used to park next to us. Joe was working, but his wife Elsie was there, and we always fed her and sat around and BS'd all evening. And one opening day, Joe comes up to me and says, "Scott, you want to work? You want a job?" And I'm like, "Good, that'd be great, man. You know, I'm from New York, you know." I didn't expect anybody. I didn't know anybody except for just hanging out. And they put me on the front gate, when they used to come on the front stretch to make the 90-degree turn on the front gate, pull out on the track. And I had never even seen the gate, so I had no clue what I was doing. I walk up there, and I remember Paul, I had a Burt and Hal Skull Bandit jacket on. It was green. And I remember Paul, first word he ever said to me, "You can't wear that jacket. It's green." And he took off his purple Flemington jacket and gave it to me, and I still have it to this day. And he said, "You can't wear green and never turn your back on a race car." And to this day, I'll never forget what he told me, and it's the truth. Never turn your back on a race car. And all they said was, when the cars come out, close the gate. Well, the first night that I was there, once they took the green flag and I closed the gate, I remember Ray Bateman come flying up the gate. And Ray banging on, and I wouldn't open the gate. You know, I was doing what I was told. I didn't know anything different. Well, stupid me stuck my head in the race car to tell him I wasn't opening the gate, and Paul grabbed me by the back of my shirt and pulled me out. And he goes, second thing is never stick your head in a race car. I learned my lesson real quick. Most of the stories I remember from Flemington are, I mean, I spent a lot of years at the front gate, or when they put pit road in, and then I used to like to play in traffic. So Joe Hall said, I think we better put him up on the flag stand before he gets killed. So they put me on the flag stand with Warren, and so all the asphalt years, him and I were a team. And to this day, we're still a team. We do the indoor shows, and we don't flag as often together as we used to, but it's the same as it used to be. We don't even have to speak to each other. We just look at each other and we know what we're thinking. I know what he needs, he knows what I need, and it's just always been that way.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we do the indoor, all of our years working at Flemington, and when I worked with Bobby, when Bobby played URC, I would, you know, especially on the fair, you know, on Monday nights at the fair, you know, I would go up and I would help Bobby. And we just, you know what is needed. I mean, Bobby would put his right hand out, and I put the flag right in his hand. I mean, you get to know that. You don't have to talk. It's more of, you know, just hand signals and kind of that look, and you know, and you know, and it's when you tell somebody that, they look at you like, what do you mean? But it's that communication. Yeah, that communication, but it's that style of communication. You know,
and we can tell when the leader's coming up on lap traffic, you know you're going to need to move over to it. So I look over, there it is. It's right there when Warren was with me. I don't never have a problem.
Yeah, no, it was, we did. We had, I don't know, many times I had the pleasure of working with Bobby, and you know, when he did URC, whether it was at Flemington or at Bridgeport, you know, it was, I tried to be, you know, his second set of eyes, and just do the right thing. And it was that silent communication. There was no, we didn't have to worry about nothing, because, I mean, with URC, Bobby was on, you know, the URC frequency, and then us at Flemington, you know, or Bridgeport, we were on our channel. So, you know, Bobby and I kind of, you know, I would let him know what was going on, because, you know, our spotters or cornmen would see something and vice versa. So, you know, it was just that good communication.
But you didn't know it, but I had a scanner with the ear plug in underneath my regular headset, so I could hear everything you guys were saying anyway.
You heard all the That's a good thing we didn't say anything bad, huh?
I heard, come on, URC, you're dragging your feet. We got to get this show done tonight.
No, and I won't mention the person that sat up behind us who could say that.
Oh.
But it was his sandbox.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun over the years. And talking about working together, it's a big comfort when you have somebody either on your right shoulder or standing right behind you that you're confident with, and you know that they know what they're doing. You don't have to look back, what's this guy doing now? You know, he knows what he's doing, and you don't have to worry about it. You don't really have time, especially on the bull lanes.
Yeah.
You don't have time to worry about what the assistant's doing.
Yeah.
You know, he has to know what he's doing, and I've worked with a lot of good ones. And Warren's probably one of the best that I've ever had the pleasure to work with. And I'm not just saying that because he's sitting alongside of me. He's a little bit bigger than me now, but but I mean, we've got along for years. And
yeah.
Warren says if you need anybody and you need a sub somebody, give me a call. And, you know, I like to think he'd do the same for me.
Absolutely.
He needed somebody to help out. You know. But close calls. Let's talk about close calls on the flag stand. We've all had them.
Yeah. Close call. That's a good one. And I'll let you start, Bob, because the only reason why I say that is because you worked the old stands, the old wooden stands, and I you know, I remember as a kid, you know, being the kid that sat in the box seat, you know, for all those years, you know, growing up into the sport. You know, I remember one night when Harry and Joe McGowan were on the flag stand. I forget who took the flag stand out, but Joe fell between the stand got pulled out. Rick Allen, thank you.
Yeah.
And I remember the stand got pulled out. Joe fell between that and the box seat where I was, because I left, I ran, and my dad ran past me. And I remember when Joe got stuck between the wall of the box seat and the flag stand, my dad picked him up and threw him up in the air. and I get goosebumps thinking about this, because my dad's in heaven looking down on me telling this story, and so is Joe, too, and he threw Joe out, and then the flag stand had two metal cables attached to it, and when it pulled it back, it splintered the front of that box seat, and Dad had thrown Joe up in the air and caught him and saved Joe from getting hurt, and that's just one of many nights that I know the flag stand got taken out at Flemington and stuff like that, but you worked it in those days, so you were down there.
That front railing was a little bit wiggly too. That wasn't solid.
Yeah, no.
I wonder if you didn't want to lean on it too hard. Yeah. At Flemington, I don't recall, just flagging URC and different clubs there, I don't recall having any close ones at Flemington, but I've got a couple of quickie stories. Wall Stadium, you and I both worked on there, on the old platform, right on top of the wood fence. But one night I was down there, it was either 79 or 80, going back a long time ago. And I looked down, put the flag down, and grabbed another flag, and I looked up, and here's the modified, and I could see the drive shaft. Whoa, that's getting a little too close. It was an orange 07 for some reason. Where's the focus thing? But it wasn't them, I can't think of the guy's name, but he came back down, and my assistant goes to me, "You okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm still standing here." But that was close. And then one night at Fonda with URC, they come off the fourth corner for the green flag. I think it was a young kid named John Jenkins. I guess he said he was going to win it the first lap.
Go-karts really.
And he came off the fourth corner, went up to the fence, a la Flemington, bang, right rear, front wheel, and then went like this. Well, there was at least 4 cars flipped. I had oil, fuel, antifreeze, whatever else they had in them. I had it all over me. And there was cars with wings off and front ends off, tail tanks off. So they sent the cars back to the pits, brought the modifieds out. We hadn't even completed a lap. We came back with all but 1 car. And I think that car's frame was so twisted they couldn't get it ready. But that was another close one. And I'll tell you one more. Grandview, if you ever been to Grandview, that little bull ring, they were coming off the fourth corner. The race was running. It wasn't a restart or original start. All of a sudden, one started to flip, 2 more started to flip, and then the 4th one. And I just threw the red and ducked back because they were getting pretty close. And that little carnival stand thing they have there for a platform, it didn't move, but it shook a little bit. So then later I saw the video, and I was amazed to see, with all those cars coming at me and flipping, there I am waving a red flag in the video. And you do it because it's an instinct. It's what you do, But it's been a lot of fun over the years, and like Warren and Scott and we're still doing it. And I feel I'm fortunate that I've been able to make a pretty nice little supplement to my income all these years. And I like it when they pay us cash. That's nice. Because Uncle Sam don't know anything about it. Anybody work for the government? I know now. Yes, Mr. Barrett, I think you got a question or no? You just, you'll come up with something, I know.
Well, actually, what I wanted to ask you, Bobby and I were talking before, I'm hoping about 32 different tracks you would flag that.
Yeah, at least 1 or 2 shows, yeah, about 32.
You talked a little bit about Flemington, but I'm just wondering how, as far as working Flemington, what were some of the unique attributes of that and some of the unique challenges compared to all these other places?
Well, I was on the flag stand with Harry for 6 races, and then we were like mud and water, just didn't click. But somebody jumped the start, and the race went on, and then the yellow came out, and I said, why don't we put that guy back now instead of waiting till the end of the race? And they went for that idea, and we started doing that then. I guess that continued for years, right? Yeah. But one night Kenny Weld was there with, of course, the Weld car, and I was on the flag stand with Harry. I think it was an afternoon show, probably Memorial Day. And Weld spun right in the middle of the front straightaway, and the whole field was coming. I mean, he was within, the front runner. And I reached over and threw the yellow lights on. Well, of course, he got going again, made me look bad, but Harry goes to me, that was you. If Paul says anything, that was you. I said, okay, all right, what's the big deal? Well, I threw the yellow for a safety factor, And Harry was having fits, you know, may he rest, but he was having fits that Paul was going to jump all over him. And I said, if Paul says anything, tell him I threw the yellow. I mean, we're here for safety for the drivers. And finally it cooled down and everything went good that way. But yeah, Flemington was kind of scary. I loved meeting Flemington when I was up on the flag stand and I took my glasses off and looked in the mirror because like the drivers with the helmet open, they had the raccoon effect. So we had it too. Even down a wall where your glasses would rub, you'd get the black tire dirt. And it was kind of neat to just look in the mirror. Well, you were too embarrassed to go in a restaurant or anywhere on the way home afterwards. I mean, you look like you just come out of a cold pit or something. And a lot of the tracks, I'm not picking on Flemington, but
It looked like Ace.
it looked like Ace. There was a time when Ace was a pretty good-looking guy.
All right, I have
Fine looking like Ace.
I have a question. You guys are very good in your day, and we really appreciate your help. I know there were some very fine flaggers back in our day, such as like the Indian, Texan, right? And then we had, what's his name, Ray Selwyn,
Oh, yeah.
good guy. And Ronnie Seipel, didn't he?
Ronnie Seipel, yes.
Ronnie Seipel. And there's a few others. But you guys would never do what Tex did because the state came in here and started making it mandatory to stand on top of that damn.
Yeah.
Couldn't stay on the floor.
I mean,
So you're talking about close calls. I think Tex had them.
yeah, he did. You know, obviously, I grew up going to East Windsor, New Egypt on a Wednesday night, East Windsor on a Friday night, Flemington Saturday night, and someplace, depending on who's running on Sunday, Mom and Dad would take me. And I remember Tex got hit by somebody, and I was going way back in the 70s, at East Windsor.
Just to refresh the audience, Tex used to start the cars from track side.
Yeah, Tex would
Run
Tex would-
at
yep.
the field and
Yes.
throw the flag.
Yes. And Tex had the respect of the drivers that they didn't start until he waved that green flag coming down that front stretch. I mean, he would look at him and he would make sure that the leader started the race special restarts. And so I mean, he was certainly one of my mentors growing up as a young man. And yeah, but Tex was on the racetrack. He did. He had control. Good point, Bobby. He had control.
I got two quick stories about Tex. Not the
No, go ahead. No.
One night at Windsor, somebody hit the flag stand when it was still down on top of the track before they put it up.
Right.
And Tex, the flags went flying. Tex laid there alongside in the grass between the fence. And safety crew got to him. I heard this story through a safety crew guy. And the guy said, "Tex, are you okay?" Tex said, "Yeah." Is everybody looking at me? They said, "Yeah, why?" He said, "Well, I'm just trying to be part of the show," he said. Then another story, this is a quick one. When Tex came to Flemington, whatever the circumstances were beginning of that one season, they handed him a radio and a headset. And Tex goes, "Well, what's this for?" "Well, you got to wear it." He said, "No, I don't operate that way. I run the show. I don't need a headset and somebody in my ear telling me how to do it." Well, I think Tex was only there 5 or 6 weeks and he quit because he wouldn't wear a headset. That's just two quickie stories about Tex.
I got one for Warren. Bobby was talking before about the yellow flag or Kenny Ball and how you got in trouble with all of that. Could you relive the night with that NASCAR race there with George Buchanan last time?
Yeah, actually, Scotty and I were there for that. Billy Ryder was the flagman for the modified tour, and I forget who spun in between 3 and 4. They looped it coming off of 3, and they got close to the inside guardrail. Well, Billy and I were on the NASCAR radio, and Bobby has worked NASCAR races, so he understands that. So Ed Cox was the race director, and Ed Cox we had given the white. Scotty was on the Flemington radio, and Scotty's pulling on my shirt saying, "You got to go yell at her to spin." So I go to Billy, and he's like, "No, we're racing. They haven't called the yellow because NASCAR they run the race." And you're their puppet. And we were, and Scotty's like, no, Warren, you gotta go yellow, and that's when, you know, I trust Scotty. Scotty tells me we have to go yellow, there's a reason to go yellow. I flipped the switches, kind of like what Bobby did, because the driver safety, there was a car sitting there, and NASCAR's rules at the time were, if the leader takes the white flag, you race back to the caution, you race back to the checker, because you're coming to the checker.
Yeah.
And most of the competitors had slowed up, and that's when George kind of went on the outside, and he went past everybody because his spotter said, the car's on the inside, up against the inside guardrail, out of really harm's way.
Yep.
But still for us, I mean, it was a, you know, there was a, you know.
And that's what we were accustomed to doing also.
And as they came around, that's when Kent went racing past everybody, and he got the win, and there was that whole, as we all know, that whole confusion that night.
Yep.
You know, of who won, and I know Acox and Bill Bryce, who was the chief NASCAR official there, and they had all had big conversations, and they wanted to know why did I throw the yellow, and I'm like, well, because there's a car wreck there, it's what we do, and NASCAR's like, no, we run the show. So that was one of the things that we had to, you know, in future events work out. But yeah, that's the reason why Mr. Kent, you know, won that race. He knew the rules, and his spotter told him it was clear, and outside of the field he went, and he passed everybody, which was legal to the NASCAR rules at the time. Now it's not, obviously, because, you know, we don't race back to the caution. You know, the leader had accepted the white, and, you know, they raced back to the caution at that point.